Guwahati International Film Festival, and we cannot thank them enough for their consistent support and guidance in helping us execute this webinar. IRC would like to specifically thank Ms. Monica Borgohe for their major contribution along with Mr. Pritam Saikia for formulating today's webinar. Regional productions play a key role in creating a very realistic impact on the audience by showcasing factual circumstances of princes and storylines pertaining to the zone. The cultural, social, and character-based accuracy obtained from regional cinema is vital to increase our societal awareness. To shed light on this subject, we have with us a panel of influential speakers from the said industry in the northeastern region. Their insightful guidance will definitely give us a sense of perception on what we are dealing with today. Our first speaker today is Mrs. Manju Bora. She has an array of achievements, some of which are that she is a national and internationally acclaimed filmmaker, a jury and committee member for various boards and committees, government as well as others, and she's the creator of the first animated feature film in the northeastern region. Ma'am is really unwell, but she has somehow managed to pull through and come on board with us. We really thank her for her presence and request her to share her views.
Thank you, Devina. Actually, the subject regional cinema showcasing reality is very interesting because I feel that without reflecting the local culture, local socio-political scenario of a particular place, cinema is not complete. And India is a very interesting country with 5,000 years old civilization. India has more than 1,700 dialects, and in northeastern region itself we have around 220 dialects. So naturally in the northeastern region, the color of the people, the culture of the people, lifestyle, everything is so varied. It is so unique that each and everybody has so many things to tell. And it may be in a remote corner of the country. It is the international border of the country. But still I feel the stories of the innermost places also of the small community are the same, the stories we know about in the metropolis or in the bigger cities or everywhere. Because human suffering, human emotions, it is same everywhere. So me, for my film career, actually, I started in 1996. It is, I think, now 24 years now. So during these 24 years of my film journey, I felt that without showcasing my own people, my own land, my journey is incomplete. So I always concentrate on some issues coming from all these, ethnic groups of people. And lately, I have really concentrated in making films in different dialects of different communities of the region. It is not only in Assam, Brahmaputra Valley, but in Arunachal Pradesh also. And for that matter, I would like to explore the other state also in the northeastern region, that people will get the cinemas, what we want to say, what we want to reflect through cinema, it will be noticed by the viewers. Because I still remember in 2013, when my film made in missing language, Koyad, was shown in Mami in Mumbai. The French Consul General, he came out of while coming out from the screening was over, he told me, Manju, I never expected this color in an Indian film. So that was such a compliment for me, because you see, color is the main thing of a film. That color is very important. That what we are talking about, what subject we are trying to concentrate, we are trying to portray, what language. These are the things. Even in my last film, In the Land of Poison Women, it is made in a very remote place in Arunachal Pradesh. It is the international border of Indo-China international border. So there also this Pangshenpa community, it is less than 5,000 in numbers. So immediately after releasing the film, I got some such viewers, international viewers. Even now I get some mails from them after the film was released in movie. They are telling that it is so interesting, the place itself and the people, the main story you have shown, the practice of some this community believe that women have poison in their nails, and when they serve food, people die after eating that food. So these kind of old beliefs and customs, people are surprised, and especially the geographical status of the place, the remote place. It is so beautiful, surrounded with the Himalayas. They want to know more about the place. And so for tourism also, for some adventurous tourists also, it became such a such a place of attraction. They have asked me how to go, how to travel to that place, what will be the accommodation and all those arrangements, So I have this interaction with the international viewers through this film. So like we always say, like some people say, that real picture of India is being reflected only in the films made in regional language. I do not know if somebody minds that, I cannot help, but I feel that regional language films are very true to itself, very true in their expression, very honest, very sincere, because you see, we have a very limited viewers, very limited numbers of viewers. So we cannot take risks taking some subjects, which are not fitted in our kind of production. It is a very less, very low budget films. These are very low budget films. Now Dominic is here, Pawan is here. So if you have seen their films, you will feel how your own land and people, how it is reflected in these works, and how we are immediately getting attracted to those, stories. Otherwise, you see, we cannot compete with those 100 crores, 200 crores films at all. So to get attention, even in the film festival or in such circuit, we need to have some different kind of color, some original color of the land and people we are living in. So that is my experience through these 24 years of my film journey. I want to always tell about my people, about my land, and that is my lifeline of my filmmaking, that is.
Ma'am, there is a question that I have. What is your opinion on the concept of remakes of regional movies? Do you feel that it compromises the authenticity of the movie?
Actually, your question is not clear to me. Somehow.
Okay, so for instance, there's an Assamese movie, and then that gets remade into a Bollywood commercial movie. So
right.
Do you feel that it compromises with the originality that the movie initially had?
Yeah, of course, it is a compromise. I definitely feel that way.
All right, ma'am, since you're not well, we will not stretch you throughout the session. Give me your closing comments.
Thank you so much.
Well, our second speaker today is Mr. Utpal Datta. He's a national award-winning film critic. He has been on the jury for several national and international film competitions and festivals. He is the author of 24 Frames and Cholo Chitro Rosho Shodon, and the director of By Lane 2 and Buhu Dita. Mr. Datta, kindly share your opinion on the same subject.
Good evening to everybody, and I'm very happy to be a part of this session. And as the subject, let us share my PowerPoint, and it will be more articulate to speak. The impact of regional cinema in showcasing reality, and our focus point is an accurate depiction. And my focus area will be only Assamese film. So Assamese film started its journey from 1935, and now it is 2020. It is almost 85 years, and in this 85 years of time, Assam has produced more than 450 films. What is showcasing reality? What is reality? Reality is depiction of a thing which we see and feel as it is in real. But in film, and I am talking about only feature film, not about documentary. In documentary, depiction of reality is something else, and in feature film, the depiction of reality is something else. In feature film, film is not reality. It's a dramatized reality, or it's a realistic drama. So if we can think that if it's a drama, how that reality can be accurate in feature film? That is the main question. So let us have a look on our Assamese films, where we have seen the various phases of reality in social reality and emotional reality in some of Assamese films. It is a very comprehensive and very excellent exemplary list, and you should not think that this is a complete and final list. So our second film, first film Joymoti, it was based on a historical story. It's a part of history. It is about Joymoti, and our Manjuri. She has also made the same story after almost 70 years of the first film. That I won't say history is different, and how the history is real, how it is depicted, I will not touch this point. So let us come to social reality. The Indramalati. Indramalati was made in 1938 and 39. It was released in 1939. Indramalati, the background of the Indramalati, the story of Indramalati was a plain, simple love story. But the backdrop was the freedom movement. The filmmaker, Jyoti Prasad Agarwala, he was a freedom fighter and he was wholeheartedly supported the freedom movement. So the spirit of freedom movement of that time had reflected in his film. It was real in the essence that pictures the film that he had shown some scene from freedom movement, but those scenes were not real scene. It was not taken from the ground. He has recreated those scenes, and those were the dramatized scenes, dramatization of reality. But the essence he wanted to reflect in his film was real. That was accurate. In visual, it was might not be accurate, but the essence and his spirit and philosophy, that was accurate. And reality, we have two aspects of reality. One is physical reality, and another is inner reality. What we feel, what is the philosophy of the author and philosophy of the subject. How the philosophy of the subject can be described, can be explained, can be picturized, can be depicted in the film. Again, we have one more film, Biplobi. Biplobi was based on freedom movement. And that film, the director, Ashit Sen, he has recreated some scene of freedom movement. Those were close to reality, but those were dramatized. How we'll explain is accurate reality or not. But he has a sense of making his film. Jyoti Prasad's Indramalati was much more attached to the subject and the core. But Biplobi was kind of making, because he had found a subject and he said, I should make a film on this subject. So he arranged everything. So it was a dramatized kind of reality. I can't say it is an accurate reality. Another film was after India's freedom. One more film came, Nimilanko. Nimilanko was the first Assamese film based on middle class society and middle class problem. Before, till Nimilanko, the films were made on some idealistic issues or historical themes. But Nimilanko, it came to the closer to the reality, social reality. That middle class was booming at that time, and director, Lakota Sudri, he wanted to depict some problems of the middle class society. But interestingly, the story of the film based on Assam, but film was made in Kolkata studio. And it is not possible to recreate an Assamese town, Assamese society in Kolkata studio. That is a making of reality. That is, you can say it is a accurate reality. But the essence was Assamese. In essence, it was true. But the appearance, the visual appearance, that was not accurate. But in film, we must be considered the visual reality also. Only the philosophical reality is the not only reality. Film is a visual medium, and we have to think about the visual reality. Nimilanko is partially accurate to reality. Another film was Bibrat. Bibrat was a comedy film. But Bibrat has portrayed some important places and important characters of Guwahati. Biprat was made during 70s, and 70 Guwahati was in a transformation period. And at that time, the director has depicted those reality in through these characters. The characters was real. They were picked up from society, but they were presented in a dramatized form. So here also the essence is real, but the presentation is not real, not accurate. It was almost real, but it's not accurate. Another film was Mamata. Mamata was a village-based film, and it was accurately picturized. Though he took cinematic liberty, he had some songs and some dramatic scenes, yet that entire perspective was real, entire character was real, entire social milieux were real there. In that sense, Mamata is very much close to accurate reality. Sandharaj is a combination of both rural and urban background, and Dr. Saikia is a prominent and expert writer and creator of middle class society through his pen, and this was his first attempt with camera, and he depicted rural life, few portion of rural life and few portion of town, and both were accurate, almost real, yet it was dramatized. But in the village portions, he was more accurate, because some portions of his film, or the village portion, those were picked up from his life. He had portrayed his own things in a different way in this film. That's why it was more real, more accurate. Then Jahanabura's Papori. Papori was made at the time of Assam agitation. Papori was the main story of the Papori was picked up from a newspaper reporting. It is the basic essence of the film was real and accurate. And he took the essence of the film, he took some elements from newspaper or some real life. So Papori was some realistic picture of Assam agitation. Sadhu Kamal Hazarika's Ban, it reflected some scene from Assam is the flood that occurs in Assam. He went to Majuli, he picturized the film in entire Majuli and the flood scenes in Majuli. It was almost like a documentary film. So in his film, that Ban, it was not created. In his flood was not created. He was waited in Majuli and he picturized all those flood scenes. Those were accurate reality. But about the story portion, I can say, whether the story was real or not, whether he has made the story, he has constructed the story from his own. But that only in the flood portion, those were accurate, real, because those were almost like documentaries. In his limited budget, he can't create an artificial flood. He had to wait for the actual flood. And he did it. So that portion was excellent and superb. Another Assamese film was Khurijo Tejor Onnanam. In this film, the director Dinesh Gogoi has portrayed some feelings of Assamese youth who were encouraged and who has joined ULFA, the terrorist movement. This is the only film where the Alpha movement has been portrayed. Though it is not very clear, it was symbolic, but the essence was real. Another film by Bhavendranath Shekhar Sarathi, it was about the transformation of middle class society of an urban place like Guwahati. It was accurate, real, authentic, both in philosophical term and both in realistic term. Another film is Amanjudi's Laj. She had made so many films, but her Laj is less spoken film, less discussed film. Because Laj was story of an Assamese village, and the Assamese village of a marginal class of a society. And she did it profoundly. And as I am from Assam, I know the Assamese village, and I feel that Manju Bora's village in the Laj was most accurate village, because she had some connection with village and she knows how to depict that village. And at the end, we can speak about Village Rockstar and Bulbul Can Sing. But Bulbul Can Sing and Village Rockstar, they can be called one film and two parts. She shot the film in a realistic way. She shot the film like a documentary type. And first she shot the film, then after that she constructed the story. So it was kind of documentary. And element of feature film was less in that film. But how the accurate picture will come, that is the main question. Accurate picture depends upon the mindset of the director. How he or she relates with the subject, how he or she conceptualize the subject, and how much passion she or he has. She comes because Manjudi is in front of me. Because how much passion, how much conviction she has with the subject, with the society, with the life of that people, that problems of the people. Otherwise, only you can take a unit, go to a location and shoot it location. It will not capture the accurate picture of reality. So this is for my opening remark, and may I conclude here? And I will come back if you need to reply some questions. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Datta. Our third speaker today is Mr. Dominic Megam Sangma. He is the co-founder and artistic director of Kelvin Cinema Festival of Films and a national and internationally acclaimed filmmaker. Mr. Sangma, the floor is yours.
To speak about the reality, showcasing reality and accurate depiction of the region. Reality is something very transient, it's fleeting, it's changing, it's shifting all the time, I don't know there is any absolute reality. I think it can be only perception of reality. And also as soon as you compose a frame, I think the reality ceases to exist, Of course, like what we try to do is that we try to bring the perception of our reality in front of the screen. So for me, the reality can be, as Utpal Dutt said that it can be philosophical reality, and it can be accurate reality in terms of what you see and do. But for me, when I say reality, it is something, can we really capture reality in its accurate sense, or it's something that is always moving, it's always something fleeting. So whenever, for example, when I was trying to make Mama, a film which is a reality that affects me, it's sometimes when we make film, like Manjudi will be affected by something else, Paban will be affected by the reality of something, and I may be affected by the reality which is more personal to me. So when I was trying to make this film, my film Mama, even though I am trying to, I cast my father as the actor, and my families and the village people and everyone. But what I realized is, as soon as you compose a frame, everything become a choice, options that we put inside the frame, It's and then even though it looks like a very documentary in that way, it's almost like as if like you can put a camera and then you feel that as if you're shooting something that is happening in front of your eyes. But at the same time, it can also means that to capture that essence of the so-called reality, how much I need to observe in life to get it. For example, a scene in my film where my father, he speaks with my sister who is in Turin, Italy, and he did a video chat in the computer, and then he never had that experience before. So I really wanted to capture his reaction. Like sometime in cinema, what I really love to capture is this fleeting gestures, fleeting movement that happen in life, which can't be if you miss, it's gone, So my father had never had the experience of doing a video chat before. So I set up everything, and then I told my cameraman, I told my sister that, okay, we are doing this. So we set up the camera, and then we told my father to come. And when he see my sister in front of the computer, I think he couldn't believe that what he's seeing, because he never thought that it's possible that you can talk like this right now, like video chat, And the smile that he gave at that moment was something that I would have never been able to make any actor act, It's something so real. At the same time, it's something, in a way, it's such a good acting. People might think that it's such a good acting, but it's something that, as a filmmaker, I think this strong observation and when we say that to capture the reality, it means that we need to really observe life and true to at least try to be sincere to the manifestation of reality, external manifestation of reality, and capture it in cinema, So this is what I feel about capturing reality. But at the same time, reality is something, for me, it's always fleeting. So I can really not I don't believe myself in capturing reality as accurate as possible. It's not possible, be it in painting or be it in film. I don't think so. It's just a perception of reality. It's just a perspective, a choice that the director makes to make it look like a real. So yeah, I think that's what I feel. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sangma. Our last speaker this evening is Mr. Havan Pawan Kumar. He is the founder, managing director of Cinema Imphal Foundation, the general secretary of the Film Society of Manipur, the executive board member of the Manipur State Film and DT Institute, and the Manipur State Film Development Society. He has also served as a jury member in several film festivals and mentored script labs. Mr. Kumar, your opinions on the same.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, IRC, GIF, and Network Synergy. Today's topic, the impact of regional cinema in showcasing reality. I think it's a very relevant topic for we filmmakers, especially for independent filmmakers. Though I have little reservation about the word regional, because the beauty of India is in its diversity. It's different traditions, culture, people. So, and also it's about the cinema of different, states or, different places, made in different languages, made in Meghalaya, made in Assam, films made in Manipur. So I think basically, the topic is about, impact of Indian cinema in showcasing reality. So, we are talking about mainly about independent cinema, because in the mainstream cinema you don't really see films. You hardly see films talking about truly projecting reality in its true sense. And so it's basically the films made in different languages, in different regions of the country, which really represents Indian cinema. And I have been doing documentaries for a long time, and I have a very realistic way of approaching my films. Are very, I think, in a very realistic in a way. So probably because I've been doing documentaries for a long time, even when I did my first feature film. So I really wanted real locations, real people to come, and the way I do documentaries. So I really wanted that to come in cinema, and that's how I do films. So if we come back to the topic, I really want to talk about the problems. Basically, as an independent filmmaker, I think, because since we're talking about independent cinema, Indian cinema, it's all about independent filmmaking. And Dominic, Manjudi, me, we most of us are doing films. It's a very individual effort. It's very difficult to make films in this country. except, you know, we used to have funding from Doordarshan used to telecast films, and we used to get some money, you know, the award-winning films, and we used to get money. With that money, we used to make, you know, our next film. So that is not happening right now, though. Fortunately, NFDC has started, National Film Development Corporation has started funding so-called, you know, the films made in different languages and dialects in India. So they have started that recently, which is a very positive sign. And Films Division is producing documentaries. But, you know, we people in this part of the country, we used to do a lot of documentaries because Doordarshan used to commission a lot of films. And that's how, you know, we all grew up doing documentaries. That's how we were introduced to documentaries. But then those things also have stopped in India right now. So it's really difficult to, you know, make films, because I think the main problem is to make films. You know, if to be very frank, you know, let's be very, very realistic. You know, because without, you know, the kind of films we are doing it's like zero budget kind of films. So we, you know, we hardly have places to showcase our films. It's just the festivals and few some online screenings and stuff like that. Even we are talking about OTT boom in the country, but, you know, again, it all depends on the market. I mean, we were thinking that this will be a great thing for us, but then finally everything comes down to market. So, you know, art has always needed patrons, and I think we really need support, especially from the government, and even especially from the government, because art is something which without patrons, you know, it's very difficult to do something very independent. And we don't really need to talk about the impact of realities. You know, we are talking about independent cinema, like we have in India have filmmakers like Ray, Ghatak, Arabindan, these amazing filmmakers, Janu, Aribam Sham Sharma. So they have shown that. So, but the thing is that to continue that, we really need support. But in small ways, we are also trying to do that in Manipur. We have recently revived the oldest film society in Manipur. We believe that can be one way of reaching out to people, and, you know, and get exposure to good cinema. So we have regular screenings every month. And also, you know, the Manipur government has announced the cine policy, even in Assam also. It's a very positive step. And and maybe, you know, there are small OTT platforms coming up. So that can be another future, but without a really good support from the government, we can't do anything. I mean, until then, I think we have to look for help from everywhere and make our films. And but I think we should continue making films, and I think that's what everybody is doing. I have been doing films for the last 13-14 years, and so I have been able to survive. But, you know, everybody can't do that, you know, and things are changing like anything. So you know, you can't always take out money from your pocket and make films. So I think there has to be a larger debate. This kind of discussion is going on, but I think we need to really bring this discussion to a very bigger platform. And because it's not just about films made in Manipur or Assam, it's all about the other films being made in different languages and dialects, which really represent Indian cinema. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. Do you feel that if the independent projects were more commercial based or star centric projects, maybe the appreciation would increase, because somehow content driven projects are not getting appreciated as much currently?
Can you repeat it again?
Okay, I'll simplify it a little. So
Yeah, please simplify.
content-driven projects are mostly
Yeah.
what independent cinema is all about. So somewhere you feel that it is getting highly neglected because of more star-centric projects getting footage and popularity.
I think the main problem is with the awareness. I mean, the way things are perceived in this country. So I think that's why I was telling that we really need to go deeper into this. But coming back to what you started at the beginning, I mean, cinema for me is not just about the content. It's also about its rootedness. It's also about, yeah, the language, the place. So I mean, so it's I think it's really something which has to be treated differently. I mean, it can't be, I don't know. I mean, you can't just make it for the masses, or but you really need to reach the people. So maybe, that in that perspective, I was thinking that maybe, we, instead of commercializing feature films, you need to you need to, in making it more entertaining. I mean, commercialization in the sense, what I meant to say was, even in documentaries, really need to be very entertaining, because those instead of narrative films being treated that way, I think documentaries should be treated in that way to reach more a larger audience, but not like distorting the reality or the facts.
Thank you so much. Mr. Datta, the question for you is, do you feel that digital platform screenings, given the current situation, is gaining a lot of popularity? And so do you feel that in some way regional films and cinema and documentaries as well will have a benefit in reaching the mass and be getting more appreciated?
Uh, in terms of market, I can say how much they can earn money from OTT platforms. But one thing is clear, that OTT platform has given us some chance to watch some regional films. During this lockdown period, as I was at home, I have my good internet connection, so I've got access to watch lots of regional films. But for me, film should be screened at big screen. Going to a theater hall and watching a film is a kind of ritual. You'll have your time, you'll plan your time, you'll go to the hall, you'll wait with lots of people, and cinema hall will be darkened and something will appear on the screen. It's a kind of ritual. And we don't feel, without that feel, I don't feel that I'm watching a film. In my computer laptop, if I watch a film, I feel that I'm going with the storyline. It is my personal feeling. Someone might find the OTT platform is good, but I don't find. Personally, I don't feel a film in my computer screen. In the computer screen, it's nothing. It's empty as PowerPoint presentation, but it is given a chance to watch most regional films through OTT platforms. Otherwise, staying in Guwahati, I don't have any access to watch some Malayalam films or Tamil films or Kannada films or Manipuri films. Even Manipur is very close to us. We don't have any access to watch Manipuri films. So we have two kinds. There are some benefits also, and there are some. But for me, the film is missing in computer screen. I can watch a film in computer screen. I can be plunged into the beauty of the film in computer screen. But other side, and about the business, I don't know. Manjula's film is there in OTT platform. She will be able to speak how it is profitable for the filmmaker. But I don't think that, because I plan to do a film it was designed to be started at January, but I think it will be late due to that coronavirus attack. And I planned it to be the biggest film from the Northeast. It will be the biggest. That was my plan. That was my dream. No one has produced a film in such a scale. I don't know the OTT platform will give me that much of money. I will have to go to theater hall. I don't know what will happen. But it is sure, I will make that film. and it will be the biggest in the Northeast film.
Thank you so much, Mr. Datta. My last question is to Mr. Sangma. Mr. Sangma, you've mentioned that you're the artistic director of Kelvin Cinema Festival of Films. So as an artistic director, what do you feel are certain concepts that as the normal population we are missing out, due to which we do not land up appreciating regional cinema the way we should?
Can you make it a little shorter? The
Okay.
question is too long
So
for me.
you're an artistic
I'm artistic director. I got it.
yes.
I got it. I got that. But yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So of course there are lots of dimensions that you see, that you understand what is standing out in regional cinema that we as normal population tend to miss out. So what do you think we as the people are lagging in appreciating regional?
I agree to Paban when he says that he says that regional, this term called regionalism, no, I think even me, I'm really against that kind of word, because look at Paban's film, or look at Rimada's films, or look at some even Manjudi's film, you know, look at Pradeep Kurba's film. When you say regionalism, you know, it's kind of confined it to one kind of place or one kind of region, but the cinema have the power to cross boundaries, to break boundaries and become international. Most of the films that have been made in Northeastern films, or be it in other so-called region in Kerala or in Maharashtra or in Punjab, you know, some great films that have been made, which, because it's not mainstream, that's why you call it regional. But then these are some of the greatest films are made in the so-called this thing in the region. So, you know, when being the artistic director of Kelvin Cinema Film Festival, why we did Kelvin Cinema Film Festival was we really wanted to. This is a part of educating mass. So we wanted to introduce a film from different places from India. We wanted to bring all the short films, like some of the best short films during that years, and then we wanted our people to come and watch. You know, we wanted to show that there are films beyond Hollywood and Bollywood. Like me, when I went to the Film Institute, I never had the idea that their film exists beyond the television, the films that we see. So when I went there, my whole perception of cinema, my whole perception of film is changed. So as an artistic director, what we wanted to do is that let's bring these films from different places from India and show it to the people. Let them at least in that audience, even if 50 people are affected by that kind of films, you know, I feel as an artistic director, I feel that we have done something. This is how to let people see a different kind of films, to understand that different kind of film exists, to understand that some sort of other films that we thought cinema can be something else also, you know. So what mass needs to, it is, I think, Pavan was also talking about the Doordarshan, you know. I feel the importance that we have given so much to mainstream cinema, actually, I feel like that the importance that we give so much to the mainstream cinema actually kill the film that is happening in other parts of India, you know. I mean, mainstream cinemas, they already have such a strong distribution channel and network and everything. Why they don't even, you know, our film needed is, maybe, I remember when I was a kid, there was one Garu film that screened in television, you know, and the whole village came together to watch that film. People wanted to watch the film of our region, of our this thing. It's not that people don't want to watch the film, but then this bombardment of mainstream films into our heads is actually, it's kind of layered, and we could not get through that, you know. So I think it's very important now to, like, forget about National Award film winners, which were screening before. Now they don't even screen that. And I'm saying that apart from National Award winners, they should screen more films. I mean, people, I think, we might not have a mass, we cannot compete with the maybe mainstream films in terms of drawing the audience, but I knew that there are people who wanted to watch films, because this is the experience that I had when I was a kid, when I saw the first Garo film and that film was actually made, I think that film was directed by a Bengali from Kolkata, only from Bengali guy. We didn't even have a director at the time, but I remember very vividly that how whole village entirely comes there to watch a film. So I hope I answered your questions, but yeah. So,
Yes,
yeah.
you did. Thank you very much, Mr. Sangma. I would like to thank all the speakers for answering all the questions. And Mrs. Bora has already given her closing comments, so I request Mr. Datta for his closing comments.
Closing comments mean if we come to a conclusion, then we can have a closing comment. But our close is open-ended. Close is open-ended. And in art, we don't have any closing comment. We'll open new avenues, we'll open new windows. And that Dominic has said one beautiful thing, that's the fleeting reality. Yes, reality changing. Reality changes time to time. But how one will capture? He will capture that particular moment when he is filming that film, or he will film the essence of that reality. That is the major question. And Haubam has said one beautiful word, we have problem with the word regional. Yes, our film is not regional because in Haubam's film, the character speaks in Manipuri, Manjurji's film speaks in Assamese, Dominic's film speaks in Garo. That does not mean that film is regional. Film from the point of view of making, point of view of presentation, it is an international language, it should be made in international language. Only the character he is speaking in a particular language, that should not determine that should not label the film as regional. That I believe. And as a writer, I have never used the word regional film. I want to speak only the Indian films. The films made in India, Indian films. We should not separate our films from Manipuri films, from Garo films, to Assamese films. We are Indian films, we are making Indian films. And if you can say that we are making international films, that's well and good. It's better because Pawan has shown his capability going to international market. Dominic has already shown there. Definitely. I think in future time that regional, that national terms will be abolished. Film will be film. It might be a film from India or film from Asia. Might be like that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Datta. Mr. Sangma, your closing comment?
Yeah, I think I use international instead of universal. It should have been a universal, not regionalism. Yeah, I think when we make film, honestly, it's not about the region itself. I think when Pawan might have gone to International Film Festival, or Rimadas might have, or Manjudeep might have gone to international film festivals, they represent India. That's why India is a beautiful country, And cinema, in a way that I think it's the medium that can reach out to many more people right now. Also because of the online platform, it can reach to not like before. Of course, like I like to go and see in a big theater, but also in a small screen now it can reach out to so many countries in the same time, so many audiences, So I think this thing of dividing this into regionalism should, we ourselves as filmmakers also needs to kind of stop ourselves thinking in that way, I think we should go forward with the thing that we are a filmmaker, we are individual, we are trying to capture the perceived reality of the things that surround us, and then the things that we are trying to deal, or the things that we are questioning, putting the questions into the audience. So I think with that, I think we can only look forward, and then maybe we can, if things will change, then maybe also the audience themselves, the mass themselves have to somehow, they also need to make some effort, to see this kind of films, to understand, they have to get out of only the film that exists, which is being fed for them, they need to get out of it and try to make an effort to, maybe, I think so. Otherwise, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. That's like a closing line or what? I don't know.
It's definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
Mr. Kumar, your closing comments, please?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this webinar, I think we could have given it more time and let more people participate. There should have been more publicity actually.
There's
Yes.
already, it's live on Facebook. It's reached more than
Okay, yeah. Would
Yes.
have been interesting to have more, maybe more film students or something from even from Guwahati Film School. Yeah, but coming back to the discussion that Pulda about the film thing, screen and everything. I think there was a time when people were shifting from cellular to digital. There was a huge uproar in Manipur. I mean, and it was very difficult for people to start to change their before they were shooting in films, and then suddenly they have to shoot in digital format. So there was a very big discussion and rivalry among video lovers and cellular lovers. I think as a filmmaker also we really need to grow with the medium, the new media, and maybe even I was thinking that maybe now people are watching films at the in the most of the time I see people watching movies in a mobile phone, in a smartphone. So maybe I was thinking that maybe we need to change our way of maybe we can have short films, short documentaries, 5 minutes on the go, and people can watch it. So maybe we need to change our mind, and maybe we think about that small screen and start making films, because we have to go with the time. So maybe that can be something which
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
sir.
Yeah.
Once again, I would like to thank all the speakers for sharing some great insights today. I think what we gather from this is everybody needs to have a very progressive perspective towards cinema and film in general. Characterizing it in a certain category would be demarcating it and marginalizing it, which is something we should think about and change our perspectives towards. And we've taken some very interesting ideas and practices from today's webinar. Thank you very much. We look forward to more future collaborations with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.